Hi everyone, Mr. H here. This is the beginning of Unit 5 Operations Management, and this is Chapter 5.1 The Role of Operations Management. In this video, we will define operations and their relationship with the different business functions. We will also present a few introductory concepts that are related to operations management too. So let's get started. When we talk about operations, we talk about the production process. We talk about all the set of actions and of steps that we follow in the making of the goods, in the manufacture of goods, uh, but also all the steps that we follow to provide, to prepare, to provide, and to deliver the service. Usually, we tend to relate operations with factories and production chains and manufacture of products, but actually, the concept of operations is bigger. We don't just talk about the making of goods. We just don't just talk about all the steps we follow to make goods, but we also talk about all the steps we follow to prepare, provide, and deliver the service. So it's not just about factories; it's about any other business uh, that follows a number of steps or actions to make the product or service available to their customers. Um, this is just to begin. Now, we have to consider also that operations have a pivotal role in a close relationship with the other business functions. How so? How do they relate? How do operations relate with the other business functions? Well, in the first place, operations are the objectives made real. So, all the initial objectives of a business, all the year-to-year objectives of a business are, become real when we start acting, when we start following the steps of production, when we start making the product real. So, in a sense, operations is the materialization of our objectives. That in the first place. But we can also say that operations are done by people, and by saying this, we are making a connection to human resources. Human resources has a connection with operations because we have to hire and train and evaluate the right people so they can do the operations or follow the actions of the operations effectively or do the operations effectively. So human resources has a connection then and into the operations to happen the most effective way by having the right people who would directly or indirectly intervene in either the making of the goods or providing the service. Then also we can say that operations require funding. Of course, we need the money to not just set the machinery, the necessary machinery for the manufacture, or the necessary tools to provide the service, or the place, or all the other aspects. We also need money to pay the people we are hiring and to make all the process possible. So yes, finance has an important role here in making the operations happen, to happen. And finally, we can also say that operations make products that must be marketed. And by saying this, we also include marketing here because marketing is responsible of designing the product that operations will have to then make or provide designing the service that operations will finally provide. But they will also think about all the different strategies and methods that will make the product or the service appealing to the customers. So it's not just designing, but it's also making it attractive or appealing to the customers. So yes, operations is at the heart of the business because it is the actual actions the business does. It is the what of the business objectives is what makes it real. And then marketing, finances, human resources are all the ones that are on operations, making operations possible, making operations available, making operations, or well, the products or the services operations make attractive to the customers. This is relationship of operations with all these business functions. Now, production is not just about either goods or services. We said that in the beginning, we usually understand products as goods or services, but when we talk about production in operations management, we're not just talking about making either goods or services. Actually, Businesses do not just make goods sometimes. I mean, sometimes they do, but sometimes they just do not make goods, or they do not just provide a service. Sometimes it is a combination of the two. Understanding this is important to then understand which specific actions or steps must be followed to make the good or the combination of good or services or the service. So, in this sense, we can think about producing goods or think about, I mean, like for example, manufacturing drinks or manufacturing shoes or manufacturing chairs or tables. We're just making goods and selling them, manufacturing or baking brownies. This is just goods. Or we talk about tangible products plus some service. Like for example, we can manufacture cars and sell cars. And with the sale of the car, we can also provide a number of specific services available to the owner of the car. So we are selling a tangible product with some services available to just that owner. So this is a combination of the two. Or we can provide a service, like for example, a travel agency that includes some tangible products, some like a T-shirt or souvenirs or other products we are giving them, food, etc., to the customers of that travel agency in that specific tour they take. So yes, sometimes we do not just provide a good or a service, sometimes we provide a combination of goods and services in some degree. Or we can finally actually just provide a service like a restaurant uh, and no goods at all, just the service that we offer. So that's this has to be taken into account when we think about operations because obviously there are specific steps that must be followed depending on the specific type of product, either good, service, or a combination that we are providing. Finally, when we talk about operations, we also talk about sustainability. There must be a balance between everything we do in the business to make sure our business is sustainable and our operations are sustainable. So, when we think about sustainability in operations, we think about three levels. Number one, we think about economic sustainability. We have to keep proper effective budgets during the year. We have to keep costs low as much as possible while keeping high quality. We have also to keep some savings for emergency situations in the future. We have to try to keep waste low or manage waste at very low levels as much as possible. All of this to make the business economically sustainable. And while we're doing this, we also think about social sustainability. We have to provide a proper internal environment that fosters, that promotes effective work from each of our internal stakeholders, from the managers to the last worker in our business. We have to provide that environment to make sure that um, they are doing their work or their operations properly. This includes giving proper pay, providing a good space, and everything like that. And well, actually, human resources will help us in that, but also finances and other areas. So we have to consider that have to be socially sustainable as a business, and that does not only involve our internal stakeholders; it also involves our external stakeholders because, yes, in order to survive and to be sustainable, socially speaking, we have to keep all of external stakeholders at peace: government, neighbors, consumers, all institutions that are outside that would be related or impacted with our business. And last but not least, obviously, we have to keep ecological or environmental sustainability. Of course, we have to care about our organizational footprint, about how much we impact our environment, how much our actions and our operations would affect the ecology. And that's something also we have to take into account to remain sustainable and be careful about our levels of pollution. So, yes, these are the three columns, the three pillars we have to rely on as operations happen to make sure we are sustainable in all of these three levels. These are also called the three pillars of sustainable development. Okay, the three aspects we have to consider to be sustainable, or the triple bottom line. And this is it for this moment. These are a few concepts I wanted to share with you as part of chapter 5.1. This is just an introductory chapter when we present these basic ideas or concepts we have to consider. From the following chapters, we will start focusing on different operation or production methods and other theories that we must consider for high quality and also, of course, sustainability in our business. So that's it for today, and bye bye.